What's up guys, Chris here from Mainely Mesh. Today we have a mesh with two different diamond sizes. 2016 makes no sense. Today I'm going to be reviewing the new East Coast Dyes, ECD Vortex mesh. This stuff is nuts. In case you guys haven't picked up on my not so subtle hints of my opinions of the standard 17.5mm diamond mesh size in a bunch of my past videos, I love the 17.5mm size that was really kind of made the industry standard by String King Lacrosse about, gosh, is it coming up on 5 years now? Almost 5 years ago, which is kind of nuts. Four or 5 years ago. But I still think there are kind of other sizes, shapes, combinations of shapes that could provide really unique feels and could potentially maximize the already incredible consistent feel that the 17.5mm diamond size has. For example, if we look in the past with kind of monster meshes that people used for more hold, if you could kind of combine certain things, combine different shapes, you could have more specific styles of feel compared to just the ultimate consistency, high hold, very solid, very good, very maximized 17.5mm mesh, but not quite as unique as some of the other possible examples out there. This is something I've been kind of mentioning to guys in the industry for a while, and it turns out ECD Lax was well ahead of my thinking and came out with their brand new mesh, Vortex Mesh. Vortex Mesh is a seemingly simple execution of an incredibly complex engineering idea. Basically what ECD Lax has done is they've kept the standard diamond size, that's 17.5mm profile, for the first, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4.5 diamond rows and along the outside of the mesh. But here in this pocket section all the way through the bottom, as you can see here, they've introduced a larger diamond size that is much more kind of diamond shaped like a typical goalie mesh. How East Coast Dyes accomplish this is essentially your standard mesh bridge, and when I say mesh bridge I mean this vertical segment. Ignore my nice stringing fingers with their calluses. A normal mesh bridge has 4 little rolls per se, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Down here and on your typical goalie mesh, there is only 2. 1, 2. So like grizzly mesh, old goalie mesh used to be like this with the 2 little folds. And actually the ECD Hero Mesh 12D was the first goalie mesh I saw that had the 4. Stringer Shack had a 4 roll barrel knot thingy back in the day, but the first time I saw it was actually in the East Coast Dyes 12D Hero Mesh. This is not the first piece of mesh that has come out with 2 different diamond sizes or more in the same piece. Stringer Shack has tons of examples of meshes with vertical differential shapes, so with a middle stripe of larger diamonds and smaller diamonds on the outside. And Jimalax in the past with their Metamorphose mesh or whatever had some horizontal differentials where the top half would be small and the bottom would be like ruby mesh per se, is what Metamorphose mesh was. The issue with those had to do with the stringability. So if you just have a consistent middle strip with larger diamonds, that can kind of mess up your top string and actually create this kind of soft baggy spot underneath the shooting strings that can be a little difficult to manage and create a little bit too much whip in the stick. For the horizontal differential like the Metamorphose mesh of the past, that also had its difficulties because halfway down the pocket you had to change your sidewall style, and all of a sudden we're trying to kind of create a stacked SI with ruby mesh, which would always be whippy. It was also kind of a nightmare, and it had a really tough shelf right where those mesh diamond sizes transitioned. What makes Vortex Mesh so unique is the way it combines a vertical and a horizontal differential, which honestly I thought was impossible. The reason I say I thought it was impossible is because, to my understanding, the way these textile machines work, you couldn't just make a simple switch between these 2 diamond sizes without doing something crazy. And in terms of keeping the outside while constantly changing the inside, it didn't make any sense to me at all. Supposedly East Coast Dyes has worked on some new machines, have been working on this idea for 3 years. Like I said, I thought it was impossible. I'm obviously not a textile engineer, but what these guys have pulled off is pretty incredible. And so now I'll talk about how it actually performs. The coolest part about Vortex Mesh is I just strung up my same pattern, right? So because you have those 17 millimeter diamond sizes on the outside, you can string up your same exact pattern if you want. It might perform a little bit differently, but basically this threw really true to form. It wasn't very inconsistent at all. You know, I was expecting to have a slightly different catch point. This threw the way I expected it to. Everything was really normal in terms of the way it performed, except boy, oh boy, is it soft in that little baggy spot. You really can feel when you catch it on those bigger diamonds, it's got a softer feel. It feels like kind of an old school 20 mil softness. It kind of bags around in that pocket a little. But then as the ball's coming out, it's nice and smooth, nothing crazy. I was worried that there might be a little bit of an extra catch point, especially because this transition here happens right about where I have my catch points in my patterns for the most part. You could obviously slide things up or down a little bit, which I think might be some of the future experiments, but really this performed really true to the standard 17.5 millimeter performance, except with a little bit more hold. How did they pull this off? Overall, that's all I have to say. Vortex Mesh is coming in at 25 bucks a slice, which matches the String King Type 3S. I'm going to be digging into this a lot more before I come even close to saying, oh, this is better than 3S, or oh, 3S is better, or blah, you should make any comparison whatsoever, because there's so many things that are going to go into this. This is going to be a very preferential thing, and I really want to know all of the different possibilities of stringing this mesh before I make some grand statement about it. The one thing I will warn is that although I was able to pull off my same sidewall pattern, it might not work for every single standard sidewall pattern, okay? You might have some combination that was your favorite pattern before with a bunch of stacked SIs, and then all of a sudden with Vortex Mesh, it throws into the ground a little bit more. So be wary, be careful. Whenever we have something new like this, and honestly, now that this door is open, we could get much more extreme with these ideas and really create some funky meshes. And if that happens, we're gonna have to look back at our stringing theory and everything else. Something I'm kind of afraid of because I've really kind of built my career on one style of stringing, but that style of stringing, and I've said it from the beginning, was based entirely off of the 17.5 millimeter diamond profile. And if something out there is better that requires a different theory of stringing but creates a better pocket, at the end of the day, we win. I'm not complaining. I just have to get back to work. Overall, incredible new product by East Coast Dies. This is really the first time, in my opinion, that they've created a truly revolutionary product. The Carbon Pro had some really unique aspects, but this is something that I haven't seen before. They've been trying to shake the naysayers of people who are saying, you know, they're always a copycat, when really I don't think that's the truth. They just take the time, they're very patient, they're very hard workers, and I think this is finally shown with this product. Really interested to see what you guys have to think. If you'd like to snag a piece of this, click the link in the bio down below. Snag a piece, mess around with it, let me know what you think. If you have a higher pocket style and want a little bit more whip, maybe shift up a row or two of diamonds, shift it down, have some fun, have some laughs, have some cries as you struggle through it. No, but in all seriousness, this is an incredible new product. I'm really interested to see what comes of it and what new kind of unique styles of stringing you guys have as a result. Thanks so much to ECD Lax for sending a piece over. Gonna have a lot more fun, hopefully snag a lot more pieces going forward. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, catch you guys next time.